guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about Gabbie Hanna and Jessi Smiles' 3-hour phone call. But before we get into it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and comment something down below. Also, I'm doing an iPad giveaway, so make sure to check out this video if you're interested in entering. It's also going to be on the screen somewhere, so you can just click on that. So Gabbie posted this video yesterday titled About the 3-Hour Jessi Smiles Phone Call. Before I get into summarizing it, you guys, I'm going to be repeating a bunch of things that Gabbie says in her video. This is a recap of Gabbie's video. This is a one-sided story. This isn't me siding with Gabbie or whatever the fuck else you guys have been commenting on my videos. This is what I do. I just recap videos and then add some of my own commentary here and there if I have an opinion. But a lot of the time, I don't have an opinion and I don't say anything. It doesn't mean that I'm siding with Gabbie. Okay, now that that's taken care of, Gabbie starts off by saying that this video wasn't even meant to be part of the series, but everyone's been asking her to address the leaked phone call with Jessi Smiles. She says that she actually predicted that Jessi was going to leak this phone call because Jessi has been targeting her online since 2015. She says that Jessi only showed 7 minutes of a 3-hour phone call and it was heavily edited and rearranged by Jessi.
I know that she said that it was only edited for brevity and that it didn't change the context, which I think would be really impossible to do out of a 3-hour phone call.
Gabbie says that Jessi left a lot of the crying in because she wanted to evoke an emotional response. So Gabbie herself posted the entire 3-hour unedited phone call, which yes, I listened to for you guys. So I swear if you don't give this video a thumbs up, man. But I'll talk about the actual phone call in a bit. She repeats her story of her not having met Curtis or Jessi at the time that the rape happened. She apologized to Jessi in 2019 after her Gabbie Hanna Needs to Be Stopped video was posted, but Jessi continued to talk shit about her behind her back.
I personally, no matter what you do to me, I'm not taking anything to the internet. Like, if we had anything meaningful,
well, I'm not the person to, I just do my Gabbie video. I can't be like,
yes, please, nothing for the internet, whoop whoop. Jessi didn't even bring it to the internet because there are things she didn't talk about. Things that we don't know about.
Girl, shut up! Shut your mouth!
And then Jessi put out another video talking about Gabbie.
It had been years of things piling up on each other and me not standing up for myself in a way that I felt justified myself. Like, that gave me what I deserve. Not everybody obviously has to do it on a public domain. That's my last resort. That was after many years of trying to solve things privately and getting just stepped all over, and I was like, okay, never again. And I think it worked.
So then Gabbie apologized in a YouTube video in 2020, but Jessi would continue with the passive aggressiveness by liking mean tweets about Gabbie, and then randomly in 2021 is when she posted the heavily edited phone call, which we'll see in a second whether or not it was heavily edited to make Gabbie look bad. She says Jessi is the only one continuing this beef and then asks to be left alone.
Where was the back and forth? We went to my Twitter, my Instagram, my YouTube, there was no back and forth. This is something that Jessi likes to do a lot. She drops an atomic bomb and then she says, leave me alone, leave me alone.
Gabbie just answered a question about Jessi in a BuzzFeed article once, saying, I gave Jessi Smiles an apology, I gave Beyonce an apology, that's it. That's really just all she said about her. And then Jessi thought that warranted a response. She says that she hates that she was even asked about Jessi and really hopes that she doesn't have to anymore. I'm pretty sure she can hand in a list of like topics she doesn't want to talk about before interviews, right? I don't know, man. I've never done shit like that before, but it's a pretty common thing for celebrities to do, I think. She says that while Jessi keeps saying that Gabbie is harassing her, she in fact is the one that won't leave Gabbie alone.
You don't see the hundreds of thousands of views that go missing off of her channel when she posts a video about me. You don't see the hundreds of tweets that she mass unliked. You don't see the tweet and deletes. You don't see the voice messages and the text that she sends me threatening me, crossing my boundaries that I'm setting firmly, and telling me that if I don't do what she wants, that she's going to put out another video with more evidence.
I would read the text out loud for you guys, by the way, because I know you guys appreciate that, but there's really nothing relevant in them. Like, I don't know what Gabbie was thinking posting these. They don't really make anyone look good or bad. They're just two people talking. Then she says this, which is kind of strong in my opinion, but go off, sis.
Jessi is my abuser. Since 2015, I have been the victim of narcissistic abuse, blackmail, harassment, stalking, slander, smear campaigns, gaslighting, threats of physical violence, and online harassment.
Okay, some of these be kind of really strong. You want to back up the whole physical violence or blackmail stuff with receipts. She says Jessi was telling people that Gabbie chose her best friends over her, which was not true, so Gabbie asked someone who tweeted that for evidence, which apparently didn't exist. So then Gabbie debunked everything Jessi was saying. Jessi asked then for a phone call, which Gabbie said she wasn't in the headspace for.
So now that Jessi had to drop the I chose my best friends I'm a social climber story that she's been pushing since 2015.
So, what she's referring to, this is such a convoluted story, but basically, that's true. There were times when I would want to say something and I just felt like I couldn't. I felt like it would be too much drama. I felt like I would be bringing up too much if it was on my account. And so Jen would be like, just tweet on my account. I would do it, and I shit you not, ask Jen. 2 minutes later, it was deleted. It was like a diary. It was like a diary that I just needed to like word vomit, and then I would delete it.
She moved on to say that I hung out with her and his friends, which didn't happen.
He didn't call you. You hung out with Curtis's friends. Curtis was there. This is what you told me. He pulled you to the side and he told you that. He told you, I'm so sorry I was mean to you. I can't believe what Jessi did to you. Trying to get on your side. That part's true, but it happened in person.
Absolutely did not happen.
So Jessi was like, well, waiting for a convo will make you feel better. It's making me feel worse. So we're in a tough spot, I admit, but I wanted to let you know how I'm feeling because I'm sure that's what you would have wanted me to do back in November. I don't know if talking will resolve everything, but I really would like to try and, like you said, be a good example as influencers from this point forward.
I needed the time and space to get better before approaching a conversation with my abuser, dude.
Okay, stop saying that, fam. So Jessi apparently kept threatening to make a video, so Gabbie felt pressured to do the phone call.
So I had the conversation even though I knew that she was just trying to catch me in something and get something that she could use, and that's exactly what she did.
And then Gabbie says that Jessi was desperately looking for a moment on the call to get emotional because she knew she was going to post the video. That sounds like a very insensitive thing to say, oh god.
Why else would you film the call like that?
Gabbie knew this was gonna happen, so she asked Jessi to record the phone call as well, just in case Jessi was gonna spin the narrative somehow, which she says she did. Now Gabbie just wants it to be over. She dropped the lawsuit against Jessi because it's just not worth it. Is it not worth it, Gabbie, or do you just not have enough evidence for anything? But she also says that it's just not fair for Jessi to be allowed to say whatever she wants about Gabbie, but Gabbie's not allowed to respond or talk about Jessi.
If you truly didn't want me to use the clips, if you truly didn't want me to talk about your trauma, then you should have just left me alone.
Then she says what she said on the phone call was true. She listened to Curtis because she knew the true story about Curtis and wanted to call him out for it. But she also listened to it because he's a human being and deserves to have his side heard.
And just like in real court, in the court of public opinion, if you're gonna judge and condemn somebody, you should at least hear them out. If you think that hearing Curtis tell his side of the story makes me a bad person, okay, we're just not gonna see eye to eye.
Also, Alex James apparently was not on Jessi's side at the time, even though he knew her side of the story from day one, yet he still chose to be friends with Curtis. Like, what the fuck?
He still chose to move in with Curtis. He still chose to collab with Curtis. He still actively associated himself as Curtis's friend. And I'm the villain.
She says when Curtis called her, he apologized for having ignored her before because she was Jessi's friend.
I was the one person from the community who stood with Jessi and Jessi alone. So no one f***ed with me. Nobody talked to me because I chose Jessi.
And that's when he asked her to tell his part of the story, and Gabbie said yes, but no matter what, she'll never defend him or publicly go against Jessi. Well, how things have changed in a few short years. But Curtis basically told her the exact same story, and Gabbie agrees that it was 100% not consensual.
You should not assume that consent is implied, which is what I told Curtis on the phone call.
However, Curtis did lie to Gabbie because he told her that he wouldn't be recording the phone call, but he was recording and later used it to blackmail Gabbie with an edited version.
Basically, he clipped together pieces of the conversation where if I were to say something like, I believe you when you say that you didn't mean to hurt Jessi, but that doesn't mean that she wasn't hurt, he clipped it to be like, I believe you.
Wow, as if we all didn't know this, Curtis is trash. So then Gabbie tells him it's illegal to record a phone call without consent, so the threat goes away, but then somehow they don't fucking hate each other? Like, how?
That's where he was like, hey Gabbie show, can I get a pic? And took those pictures. He was taking pictures of Zayn and I, like implying that he was there with us, which all of it was clearly a manipulation to try to attach himself to me.
But she says that she never collabed with Curtis, which was the rumor going around for the longest time, which confuses the shit out of her and honestly made her question her reality and drive her insane.
And it was all really confusing and weird and stressful. Jessi was blackmailing me. Curtis was blackmailing me. It was so scary. Alex James was still collabing with Curtis. Everybody else was still collabing with Curtis.
People are still threatening to release receipts about her to this day that would end her, and she just doesn't know what they could possibly be.
They're still currently saying it. You can go see it right now.
I'm just gonna rip your asshole open on the internet.
And I don't know what it is, if it exists. But I wish somebody would show me, because if it exists, then I can apologize or explain it or whatever the fuck, dude.
Also, can we talk about how she's covered in metal head to toe, but she's allergic to all metals? Like, what are these made of? Plastic? So yeah, whatever. This stuff we've all heard of a million times by now. Let's finally move on to hopefully something new here. This 3-hour phone call. Here we go. The conversation starts pretty maturely, almost like a business call. It was just kind of weird.
How and where would you like to start?
I'm not going to talk about every single topic, by the way, that they talked about, because then this video will be an hour long and I'm trying to keep this as condensed as possible, but I'll talk about the main points and if there were any discrepancies in either Jessi or Gabbie's portrayal of what happened. They have a little bit of a disagreement about whether or not Jessi was threatening to her to have this phone call.
I'm sorry, you know I didn't say that in the voice note, right?
The way like my lawyers and my team and I see it, it's a thinly veiled threat. That it's like, I don't want to have to do this, but if you don't talk to me in my schedule, then I'm going to have to defend myself.
Gabbie says she has texts of Jessi threatening to hit her and expose her if she doesn't delete her video.
Can you send me that? Is that something you're willing to send me?
I would definitely have to talk to my lawyers first and see what I'm allowed to actually give you, because that's like obviously legal shit.
So
they start arguing about whether Gabbie had sex with Jessi's ex in the middle of arguing about some other thing.
I didn't try to have sex with your ex-boyfriend. Actually reached out to me over OkCupid, and then he was venting to me, and I have all these messages as well about you and saying how you were like throwing him around. And then I said to him, maybe we should just hook up. And he said, yeah, we definitely should. How about tonight? And I was like, haha, no. And then he hit me up 2 more times to have sex, and I never did.
But apparently they've already talked about that, and Gabbie's just like, I'm tired of having the same conversations over and over again with you. Moving away from that random conversation, Jessi completely denies having ever blackmailed Gabbie. Gabbie threatens to pursue legal action because Jessi isn't admitting anything. Jessi says, go ahead.
I'm okay to do that if you don't want to, like, if you're just going to tell me all of the evidence that's in front of me doesn't exist, what's the point?
They talk about a bunch of tiny trivial things, like Jessi pinning a tweet making fun of Gabbie's EP and really unimportant stuff. Jessi keeps saying that never happened, just very back and forth. And they also keep going off topic and repeating the same things that we've been hearing all these years, so I'm not going to be repeating all of them. Jessi asks Gabbie why she lied about speaking about her on the day of the TMZ article. Gabbie says that she just said that she never ditched her friend for her or defended him.
Put some tweets up that I obviously don't agree with in 2020. It was 6 years ago, and I didn't remember them until I saw them again, and I was like, okay, yeah.
But Gabbie's also like, why are you bringing this all up when we became friends 8 months after? Jessi never answers that question. She just says the answer is you, but like Gabbie did not accept that.
Jessi, you're deflecting, and we need to get back to the point because you're deflecting.
The whole reason why I'm bringing it up is because you are online saying that anybody who calls you a apologist because of me, which I never called you in my video, I just showed the things you were saying, is liable for defamation of character. Then you say that I tried to ruin your career by falsely accusing you of being a rape apologist, something that I didn't say before today.
Very unrelated, but where is Jessi from? I love her accent. They talk about the legality of it all. Gabbie points out that all of the alleged lies Jessi told in her video, and that she apparently has receipts to refute them in court, but then she's like, I don't want to sue you. I don't want to take food out of your kid's mouth. Gabbie asks how many times Jessi has brought her up in the past 6 years.
Maybe 4.
It's 7.
5.
That's over 1 a year.
Jessi defends herself by saying that she concedes that she did speak about Gabbie a lot here and there, but Gabbie in 2020 has been talking about her for over a week. Gabbie said that this was in response to a tweet Jessi made in 2019 and that Jessi should just stop tweeting about her. I think they both just need to stop talking about each other, and then this would all be over. This is so similar to the Gabbie Hanna Trisha Paytas situation, by the way. Like, they're just obsessed with each other. Jessi says that she was not trying to ruin Gabbie's career and that she was hoping that her video would make Gabbie stop talking about her rape.
Jessi, where? Where have I talked about your rape or called you a liar?
And then Jessi said Gabbie called her a sexual predator, which Gabbie says never happened.
I said it was predatory behavior, which it was because you're a public figure and you were with a teenager.
They argue about whether or not it was okay for Gabbie to talk about Jessi's medication, considering that Jessi publicly talked about it. Gabbie says that Jessi caused a financial hit on her because being called a rape apologist led her to lose sponsorships and patrons.
Gabbie, but you were a rape apologist on January 16, 2014 by the...
Jessi, the deflection here is crazy because you keep ignoring the actual facts of this situation.
I feel like this whole conversation is so pointless because they didn't agree on a single thing. Not a single thing. Like, they literally went back to talking about Gabbie having sex with Jessi's ex. Like, what does that have to do with anything? They literally talk about this for 10 minutes.
Okay. I didn't try to have sex with him. I said it just to know that I could.
Okay. That is equally as fucked up. Sorry, but it is.
The conversation moves on to then Gabbie having called Jessi a slut in 2015. It's so crazy. I'm so bored watching this right now. Please subscribe. But Gabbie says that they could never get along and that they just need to leave it at that. They both just need to stop talking about each other or stop tweeting about each other.
You have yet to apologize for anything. I'm not saying to.
Did you apologize to me?
I did.
When?
About the subtweets. When I said I'm catty and the videos, yes, that's stupid.
Okay, you're not sorry for the video that you made at all.
No, I was standing up for myself. I do still stand by that video.
Then Jessi brings up Gabbie calling her rape drama.
It's the situation surrounding my, all the drama. Literally, you mentioned my a million times and my a million times, and then in the same DM call me a liar. That just wants attention.
Gabbie agrees that it was 100% insensitive for her to say that and that she never meant to reduce her experience to drama.
Sincerely from the bottom of my heart right now, please understand that if you felt that that like belittled your experience or just took away from something, that was not my intention.
Jessi says that she never called Gabbie a apologist. That is what the viewers deduced from Gabbie's own actions and words, but Gabbie says that Jessi was liking tweets calling her that, which perpetuated the rumor. Jessi says she never did that and that she truly doesn't care whether or not she collabed with Curtis. Gabbie says but now she needs to clear her name and that's why she keeps bringing it up to this day. They keep blaming each other for who started talking about this in 2020. Gabbie talks over Jessi a lot. I wish I could hear more from Jessi's perspective, but I just feel like Gabbie has this belief that these are the facts. So if you stray away at all from what I think happened, you're going off topic. So I'm just going to interrupt you mid-sentence. She also accuses Jessi of deflecting a lot, but whenever Jessi asks a hard-hitting question, Gabbie would just be like, we're getting worked up, let's calm down, or we're getting off topic. At some point, Gabbie says she got a forensic analyst to get Jessi's privated videos about her. Like, what the f? She privated them already. Why are you going so out of your way to get them? Gabbie brings up feeling ganged up on by Alex James and Jen and Jessi and Twitter and then also drama channels. Jessi replies that she does not condone bullying Gabbie and that was never her intention and it's not her responsibility what other people say or do and that she doesn't like any mean tweets about Gabbie on Twitter. Gabbie asks Jessi what she wants from this situation. Like, what would the ideal situation look like in Jessi's eyes? Jessi says that she doesn't know and asks Gabbie. Gabbie says she'd rather settle out of court, but not for money. She asks Jessi to delete her video and make a public statement and apology to Gabbie and then never speak about this again. That's a ridiculous ask, Gabbie. Like, you're not the victim here. Why not just ask her to never talk about you again and then have her sign a contract or something? Like, that'll just end things and then things will go away at some point. I don't know why you would ask for an apology that you don't deserve. They then argue about ridiculous things like Gabbie leaving Jessi for people with more followers or using other friends to get close to freaking Justin Bieber, like stuff no one cares about. But back to the Curtis thing, Gabbie says that she never told Jessi that Curtis's friends didn't rape her so that she can hang out with them.
In no world can you now say, oh, that just didn't happen. That is apologist behavior that I forgave you for. So if everyone wants to call you an apologist,
Now you're talking about in 2020 then.
Yes, you are!
Then we reach the part where Jessi got emotional over finding out Gabbie talked to Curtis multiple times and hangs up the call. To gather herself, Gabbie adds in a little extra section saying, Jessi became hysterical when I rehashed that Curtis asked me to tell his side of the story. I do not like the use of the word hysterical at all, which was very shocking to me because I told her this in 2015. I've also apologized for this countless times over the years. This was not news to her. That's what caused her to start the rumors on Twitter. I was suspicious that it was an act. I'm now confident it was an act. And then she adds in a little clip of her saying that this was not news to Jessi.
It was just a deflection on the phone call. She needed a reason to get upset.
Back on the call, Gabbie brought up the fact that Jessi knew that she spoke with Curtis, but Jessi was just like, she didn't want to talk about that anymore, so I guess we'll never know. Gabbie says that Jessi grabbed lunch with fans and talked about Gabbie behind her back. Jessi said that she didn't do that.
No, Gabbie, I didn't take fans on dates and talk shit.
Then they talk about Gabbie not being a rape apologist for like a good half hour.
That's not being a rape apologist. That was
Right.
the entire Vine community was saying that you were like lying and I made a mistake in a
I'm sorry.
moment.
That is apology. That doesn't mean you're a rape apologist now. But you cannot get on the internet, use my trauma to defend yourself in a way
Saying
that doesn't make
something
sense.
that
Absolutely.
okay, Jessi.
Bitch, let her speak. Nothing too much new in addition to the videos that Jessi posted, to be honest. So if you've seen those, like, you're not really missing much. They argue a little bit more in detail matters like whether Gabbie FaceTimed Curtis or spoke to him in person, like stuff that doesn't matter. Gabbie pretty much demands a public apology from Jessi, which is ridiculous because they couldn't even come to an agreement on the damn phone call over who's in the right. So like, is she stupid? Why did she think that Jessi would do that?
Your retraction and statement involves you having no fault.
No, it wouldn't.
Gabbie says that there was never anything publicly that she said about Jessi that she should apologize for and that she hasn't apologized for.
You know, we have our emails that highlight like everything. Like we've had a lot of shit go on.
It doesn't matter. It's never been public. You made it public.
But Jessi still does apologize to Gabbie on the phone call for tweeting about her.
I'm sorry if you saw that and you were like, what the fuck? This is
okay, listen to that apology. I'm sorry if you saw that. I'm sorry if you felt this way. I knew it was stupid. How about Gabbie? I'm sorry that I hurt you. I shouldn't have tweeted that you were a shitty person.
Gabbie, I was being catty.
Yeah, so can you apologize for being catty?
Gabbie, I just did. Like, what do you want from me?
No, you said I'm sorry if you saw that and felt some type of way. Like,
Gabbie, just let it be. You got a apology. Can we all just go home? She literally starts begging Jessi for a specific apology. Like, what the fuck? What is that gonna do for you, Gabbie?
Can you just say, Gabbie, I'm sorry I hurt you? Please?
I already said I'm sorry.
I'm not exaggerating. They talk about what Jessi just apologized for like the next 5 minutes. I can't make this up.
Then say it. Then just say you're sorry for that tweet, please.
I already did, Gabbie.
No, you didn't. You literally just said, I'm sorry if you saw that and felt a certain type of way.
Gabbie gets kind of mad from here on out and literally screams at some points talking about how Jessi publicly bashed her, whereas she just talks about Jessi privately.
For all you know.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Wow. Oh my God. And you won't just see how different it is to vent to a friend versus publicly bashing somebody.
Gabbie points out a bunch of instances where she thought Jessi talked about her, but Jessi was like, no, those things aren't about you. And then Gabbie was like, everything is about me.
Who was that person about?
I don't even know at this point what you're referring to.
Who cares, Gabbie? She didn't mention your name. How is that bashing you? Jessi tries making a point, but Gabbie interrupts her over and over again.
That's not how I see it in my eyes at all. And I just want to...
It doesn't matter if your eyes...
I'm saying, listen, everyone has the evidence.
Jessi, like, I'm burnt out from this conversation.
Let her speak. All in all, I don't think this 3-hour video really did anything for Gabbie, like, at all. I'm sorry, this was just a waste of everyone's time, especially me. If anything, I think Jessi kind of helped Gabbie out a little bit by posting the cut down version because this does not paint Gabbie in the best light. T-Spill said, I stand with Jessi Smiles. Someone else said, anyone else feel like they're being tortured but they have to finish the call? Me. Literally me. I fucking swear I would rather die than listen to this fucking voice memo again. And lastly, one user says, at this point Gabbie just seems extremely dumb. Like, how can she see any of this painting a positive narrative in her favor? Like, how? Where? You guys, we have finally reached the freaking end of this stupid video. I hate myself. I hate my life. Please do not ever ask me to recap 3-hour phone calls ever again. I'm so glad this is over. Please give this video a thumbs up. Like, I would rather react to like 4 million other OnlyFans than like do another one of this. I hate my life. Also, there's like so much else going on with Gabbie, so there's gonna be a new video on the whole Angelica Owl situation. So stay tuned for that. Please give this video a thumbs up. Again, that was it for today's video. If you liked it, please make sure, okay, bye. I don't know.